Hey guys, this is Vlad Dragon here. It was hard, right? I was watching YouTube and I noticed that people have been posting my deck, which is fine. And I got really serious about trying to, do DN videos because I can't do Dev Pro because the fact is I own a Mac, so Dev Pro haven't hasn't done anything for Mac, so. And after a little bit of search, I found a screen recorder that I can use. I don't know if I'm free trialing it or what, but if these stop, I'll make a video about why they stopped. So this is the deck profile that I'm using right now. It's Red Eyes MD, Tempest, um, Dragoonity, Arm, Messeltane, two Harpy Dancers. It's mainly because of room. I had to cut something down to two, and that's the only thing I can find. I know you guys are looking at the Mist Valley and like, well, just don't run Mist Valley. Well, the reason why I run Mist Valley is so that I can cut out the climbing synchroing. Going into Vajrayana and then going into Stardust. It just saves your Vajrayana, so you don't have to run three. So you can get right into your Crimson Blader or whatever else you need. And plus, he does have a pretty nifty effect, so that if you attack a big defender, you can just bounce it back to the hand, and it's kind of rude. Garuda, Wind Spirit. Um, if the Dragoonity deck ever, if the Dragoonity deck ever gets nerfed out of this, and I just run pure Harpies, I would probably run one or two Garudas in this deck because it's really, really good. Just in case they negate Chandler's effect, you can just remove from play your dancer or any of your harpy ladies and special summon it and go for your rank 4 plays, which that's all the regular harpy deck does. One Zephyros the Elite, because why wouldn't you run Zephyros the Elite? And Dragoonities are harpies, are both. um, Triple Ducks because it's the engine. Don't run the Legionnaire because the harpy hunting ground is your back row removal. Triple Chandler because it's the main engine. Triple Dancer because it's the thing that meshes these two decks together. Summoner Monk, I was gonna take this out, but it's really just too good. It gets your plays going and it ditches your Harpy Hysteric Sign to the graveyard. The card I was gonna run was called Z10. No, Z1. What it does is if it's destroyed while it's face down, you can add one field spell or one continuous spell card from your graveyard to your hand, which I thought was really good. But it's just the deck's really tight. I thought about maybe dropping this down and then getting rid of that for it, but it's just these at 3 are just too good. You have to have them. I tried to run them at 2, and it's just you never draw them, or you don't draw them at the right time, and these are your MSTs. So Summoner Monk is also a good replacement for the Dragon's Ravine. I only run 2 Phalanx because one you can't fit 3, and the other is that you only need the 2. I mean, if they Fiendish Chain you, not Fiendish Chain, but if they chain disappearance you, you're pretty much screwed anyway. And if they remove these from play, but if you're a good player, you won't have to worry about that. And then Harpy Hunting Ground because it's your continuous MST and it kind of makes the deck. Um, One Divine Wind and Mist Valley because it's just with Dragon Ravine gone, this is your way to fish your Phalanx right out of the deck. One Dark Hole because it's Dark Hole. Foolish Burial, I've thought about just cutting this out and running terraforming or running a Z1, but it's just you can pitch your Tempest, which is pretty important at any time. You can pitch your Chandler if you haven't got it to the graveyard and you have your Hysteric Party play. You pitch your Phalanx, obviously, or you pitch your Zephyros. So it's too good. You have to run one. It'd be better if it was at 3. If harpies ever get nerfed, the best thing to run on top of with this is probably, I think it's called Dragon Shrine. Send one dragon to the graveyard, and you can send a if you run a normal dragon, you can send one. So it's just ways to get your dragons to the graveyard. Hysteric Sign. A lot of people thought that it was going to get hit, but I think that if it gets hit, then the deck's probably just going to go back to what it was doing before, which was nothing. I mean, even with Dancer, this is the card that kind of makes the deck, and it's really the only thing that's really good in the deck. And a lot of people are like, "Well, you get a +3." I realize that, but the only thing you're ever gonna grab is a Chandler, Dancer, Queen, and your grounds. I mean, those are 3 cards. You're never gonna grab Harpy Lady #1 unless you're retarded, because your Harpy Lady #1 you want to keep in your deck just in so whenever you get this, you can if you're running the Elegant Egotist, you get that. You get your Elegant Egotist out, which summons your monster from the deck, which deck thins even more. It's just you wouldn't do it. So if this ever goes away, the deck's gonna be pretty much dead. Um, Forbidden Lance, because you want to protect these 2, especially this one, and this one. These 3 cards from any kind of negation. Summoner Monk's pretty cool because he's a cost, so you can just pitch this anyway, and even though his effect doesn't go off, you still get your plus at the end phase. Swallow's Nest is probably my favorite card in the deck that's teched in, because it's a reactive MST, which, like, if someone bottomlesses this, you can activate and then special summon another one, and if they MST, then you just chain your other one on top of it, which gets a special summon, which you'll get another pop. I mean, I know it's a lot of cards that negate from your hand, but at least you'll deck thin, and you will get the whatever back row they have out of there. The One of Compulse, just because it's this or bottomless, and bottomless you can only activate whenever they summon. This you can activate it at any point. Icarus Attack, because it's Icarus Attack, and I have 3 golds. I'd like to fit more Hysteric Parties in, but this is actually really good. And with Zephyros and being able to go into Beast to Vulcan, you can basically return this twice, so you basically can run 3 if you don't get the initial loop off. And then Magical Hats, 2 is fine. I know the thing about it is, you're going to get your Hysteric Sign, and you might end up, you're 9 times out of 10 going to grab this if it's still in the deck, especially if you already got your Phalanx off. If you really had to, though, and you're really trying to get through, and you're not really sure what to pitch, you can always send a Swallow's Nest, which is good. And, if you're to the point where you don't need, you're already used up your Harpy engine, then you just get rid of your second Magical Hats. So you don't want to do too much of that. It's just, this is probably the best build right now. And another thing, that's why I was trying to run the Z1, because it's Z1. You set it, as long as they don't attack. If they don't attack, if they miss it, then it's going to get destroyed while it's set, which would get those 2 back. So Z1 is cute, but if this is your first Hysteric Sign and you're sending, might want to pick out Z1 unless your hunting ground is already in the graveyard. Because if this isn't, if you grab the Z, if you're using the Z1 and you grab this 2, it's going to get destroyed. Then you're going to be able to add it back to your hand, which means you can't activate its effect. But if you're running an Elegant Egotist, it's a good way to get it to your hand and then get your Harpy plays off. And then for the extra deck, it's pretty standard. Crimson Blader for the Mermill and Fire King matchup. Scrap Dragon, because it's Scrap Dragon. Stardust, because it's Stardust. Gay Dirge, because this is your only Dragon's Ravine right now. And the cool thing is that you can add your dancers and everything, so it's pretty cute. Beast Lord Vulcan, just to push for game, or to replace, to get this, or to get your Red Eyes back to your hand so that you can do more shenanigans. Only 2 Vajrayanas because you're kind of tight on space and you only need 2 if you play it right. M7 uh, gets monsters so you can get this to your hand, or this, or your Chandler or Dancer, or your Summoner Monk. Um, Photon Strike Bouncer is basically an effect veiler, a 27 effect veiler, but it only works on the field. But you don't have to do it during the main phase. So anything that activates during the standby phase or during the end phase is fair game for this guy. Um, Heretic Dragon, King of a Tomb. I'd like to run 2, but the deck just doesn't have the space. Key Beetle for now because you run Summoner Monk and Zephyros. But whenever, if as soon as I can get my hands on another big eye, because I sold my 2 off and made profit off of it, this will probably get replaced for a big eye. This Ice Beast is too good not to run. So yeah, you definitely want to run this card, especially if I seen a guy playing and they tried to Watlock him. Well, this negates everything on the field, all face-up cards your opponent controls, and then gets a boost, and this allows you to win. I'd like to run this at 3, but I just don't have the room. But it's so broken, and plus I only own 2, and my deck right now is set up for what I own, and then Dweller. Because if you're running a mirror match and they drop this your opponent drops this to the grave and you have this on the field, you activate it. Well, guess what? Now you can't activate this card, and obviously the Abyss the Abyss deck, is kind of going to be it's not really a problem now that I've played against it with the new format, but you don't want them to get their effects off, and TGs. This kind of stops TGs from getting their effects if you really want to be a dick. So I don't really have my side deck 100% solid yet, but Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, because Insectors are starting to make a play. Constellars is your hardest matchup. Debunks for anything that activates in hand, and let me think here. Oh, I run double Effect Veiler side deck because I can't main deck them. Maxi side decked. 2 Swift Scarecrows because OTK cards, Madolches are a problem. Let me think here. Oh, I run a Macro Cosmos. I run a I run what the hell is it called now? Soul Release. Just whenever Madolches get cards in the game into the graveyard, you don't want to stop them from doing that, so you want to get rid of that. And then the last one right now is a System Down, just for the random machine decks and all that. So I might set up my side deck, accordingly, right? But I'm not going to do it while I'm recording right now. So that's my deck profile, and I'm glad that it's seeing play. I don't care if you guys used my video and came up with it, or if you guys are doing it yourself. Like the Draguity deck is not dead, and there's all kinds of variants you can play right now. It's just not derpy because Ravine's gone. I'll see you guys later.